there's loads of potential answers to that question. I mean, so in terms of the mobile technologies and this interactive fiction, we're using incl, which is the interactive fiction engine. Very good. In terms of using that stuff, I think that there's the main benefit there is just this opportunity to bring people into this world that they create, which is what makes our app so different to a computerized CBT app or a chatbot app that talks through problems with you, or just a simple journaling app. Those things have their place, but like I said before, they're not engaging people enough, and they in particular don't engage a certain type of people, which are people who want to play games, who want to get involved in something a little deeper and more creative. So the fact that it's on a mobile is very important. This thing could work on a PC. It's a progressive web app, but we're not making it possible for people to play on a PC because we want they want the app and the phone to be this portal in their hand that takes them into this fantasy world. That's part of it. And also we are trained, we have smartphones have very successfully trained us at engaging with smartphones. We are all experts at engaging with smartphones. We all know exactly how to have a text conversation with somebody. It's all very familiar to us. Doesn't matter our age. If we have a smartphone, we get it. So this makes there's no barrier to learning or starting where people have to, a huge barrier to beginning in most video games. You can't go from being a non-gamer to doing World of Warcraft without going on a really steep learning curve, whereas that's not here in these mobile technologies. In terms of crypto, I mean, I am no crypto expert. We're working crypto. Ellie is more of a than I am, to be honest. And I'm increasingly excited by it. Well, I've been excited by it for a long time. It's one of the latest shiny things, and it's fascinating. But what for me? So I don't think not everybody, people in crypto, people in Web3 understand this. People who aren't in Web3 and don't know what Web3 is, don't get this thing that I'm about to say. And I think this is the most exciting thing about Web3 and crypto, but Web3 in general. And that is that in Web3, as opposed to Web2 or Web1, the user, the participator in a thing, doesn't need to be a passive consumer of information fed to them by Meta or Facebook or whatever we're going to call them, or whoever it is that has created the app that they're using. Instead of being this passive consumer, in Web3, the person who is participating is co-owner, co-creator of the product in many cases, and certainly of the community. NFTs mean that you actually have some skin in the game. You have bought an NFT. It's like a small investment. So you become an investor in that company. Same with companies that have their own tokenomics and their own coins. It's the same deal. People buy into it. And on quite an abstract level, that is really beautiful to me because it might sound like it's just a way of making money out of people. I don't see it that way. People would be spending their money anyway. If we spend our money on a Web2 product because we're just subscribing to it, we're giving our money away and then we're consuming the thing. But in Web3, we give our money away, but then we're part of the thing. And that runs very parallel with what Betwixt is as well. And instead of just telling you a story or giving you a movie or a game that is sort of set in its direction, you have to co-create this world. You have to create it in your mind. You have to choose the options that build the game, which means that your version of the in-between, which is the world that Betwixt takes you into, is never going to be the same as somebody else's. Towards the end of the game, you completely create the world that you're in. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but you become increasingly, actually I can tell you that you go through levels. You start as a seeker, you're looking for something. You level up to hero, partway through the game, which sounds like the top, but it isn't. Beyond hero, you get to become the author of the story, and beyond author, you get to become the architect of the reality. And that's what I think we're doing with this movement from Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. We're allowing people to become the architects of their digital world.
Makes a ton of sense. Correct me if this is kind of a clumsy metaphor, but is it almost like, with Web3 and kind of what's going on with crypto, blockchain stuff, it's almost like if you went to Starbucks and when you bought a cappuccino or whatever, you also had the ability to purchase shares in Starbucks or something.
Yeah. It's kind of like by buying a cappuccino in Starbucks and become a shareholder in Starbucks. Yeah. It's exactly like that. And so there is a financial there is a financial incentive. If you think something's
Yeah.
going to be the next big thing, it's worthwhile buying your coffee there. At the beginning, it's a good idea financially, but there's something more wholesome to it that I find interesting. It's not just about the potential to make a load of cash or a load of
Hmm.
crypto. It's about your opinions mattering, and it's about your presence mattering beyond just making up the numbers. Your ideas matter. In Web3, people take products and they build on top of them and they iterate them for you. And things can go off in completely, especially with NFTs, things can go off in completely new
Mm.
directions that you'd never anticipated and actually have no control over. You wouldn't want it, because what's happening is your thing is being adapted by the users of that thing into something that is even more valuable to them.
So it has there's something, the word meaning keeps coming to me. It's like there's something more meaningful about it, and it's with it being kind of community driven. It's also actually probably a little scary as a business owner creator, because it really gets out of your control, right? I mean,
Yeah.
does that resonate at all? I don't know.
Yeah, it is like potentially completely out of your control. And I think that we have to just make peace with that, to have the benefit of people having skin in the game and being really involved and engaged in
Yeah.
the build. You do have to also have some boundaries around it, of course. If you went and you set up a Discord community for your product, and then you thought, okay, these guys are the investors, and what they say goes, and then you wanted to just follow every whim that they had, or every demand that they had, you could get yourself into a pretty dangerous place pretty quickly.
Right.
So you need to have some boundaries, of course, but
Hmm.
you're not sitting behind your desk in your rich suit dictating to these people who don't feel like they're on level with you. They are actually they are in the game. They are the game. They are the
Right.
community. That's exciting, if a little abstract.
No, no. I find the space so fascinating. When I was an undergrad, I was very fascinated with like politics, philosophy, and economics, and these were always like kind of abstract concepts. And it's like, how does this apply? You're just like theorizing. But what's fun about crypto is it's like, no, you actually have to make design decisions around governance. And it's what you're reminding me of was a lot of the ancients were very critical of pure democracy.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, that's like, it can be a little bit of a tough system, but at the same time, maybe it's not kind of a pure centralized, monarchical system or something like that. But with crypto now, there's so much flexibility that you, as the creator or kind of the founder of the project and the community, can really have to think about these architectural decisions, economics, politics,
Yeah.
it's
And you have to
fascinating.
make decisions without having any idea
Yeah.
where the space is going, because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Literally tomorrow, everything could be different.
Yeah.
Means it's not